Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max.
Welcome, everyone. We are the Geek Patrol, and our microphones don't have a stun setting. I'm Joe Thorderson, here with my friends Brandon Olmstead and Allan Gilbreth, and our buddy Max over there behind the glass. And today, you should expect some commentary about Andor Season 2. The finales are out, although not all of us have seen it. I've watched it multiple times. I mean, I can just say this is one of the best shows I've ever seen. I'm really glad that they closed it out strong, Brandon.
Yeah. Oh,
and I am so satisfied with the way this went, man.
Did I tell you what my one criticism was about the ending?
Careful.
No, I'm not going to give any spoilers away.
Okay.
But we get to the end, and I'm like going, I know it's last season. They're not doing another season. All this is over. And, of course, my brain for a minute forgets that Rogue One exists.
Right.
And
You're
I'm
like,
angry
well,
because it's like, I want to know more of the story. And then it's like, wait, you know what the rest of this... My brain basically kicks in and goes, hey, idiot, you know what the rest of the story is. I was like, oh, yeah. So I watched Rogue One.
You're going to watch... Yeah, exactly.
You're going to want to watch it as soon as you're
Rogue
done.
One. So, and also, we want to pay tribute to a man who, I guess he owned the 70s, right?
Mitchell.
Joe Don Baker. I know him from Mystery Science Theater 3000. He was fodder for those guys, man. But,
he played Buford T. Pusser in
Right.
Walking Tall.
I bet Allan has all sorts of
Allan
thoughts
worked
about
with him,
this guy.
probably.
Right. And Max, you have something you wanted to say about the anniversary of Shrek. We'll get to that. This is super random, but Brandon, I think it's relevant.
Okay.
You have a distinction among my friends that I don't know that I know anybody else that is this way, but okay, I am like very regimented. I get up and my only caffeine for the day is I get a Diet Coke in the morning. And I have to have it, but I drink a Diet Coke.
Absolutely.
Literally every time I see you, you have a different flavored beverage. So you're very experimental. You're open-minded when it comes to your beverages. I'm not.
And of course, the one sitting in front of me, and I'm not being paid for this. This is not a paid ad, but I am sitting here with a 20-ounce bottle of Sprite plus tea, and it's just it's nice, but it's no caffeine in this one.
Yeah, but okay. Here's the thing. I have results that I expect. Right. When I drink my Diet Coke, it wakes me up. It kind of gives you that little kick that you need, and I know what it's going to taste like. I know how much Okay, well, you might get a soda that you're like, well, that was a big mistake. I just threw my money down the drain, or you might get something really good. I don't know. To me, it's very risky.
I feel the same way about my beverages as I do about my entertainment.
Huh.
I will find something to like about it, and if I can't, I'll just never purchase anything, from that flavor group again, because there are certain things that I will not touch again. One of them is Celsius, their peach fusion vibe, and I love peach, and it just doesn't taste good to me. And I like all their other brands. They've got one that they call a retro vibe. It's supposed to be the flavor of the 80s.
Yeah,
it's literally sherbet.
I don't. Okay.
It is, but no, I there's something about flavor, and it can really affect your mood through the rest of the day.
Exactly. That's what I was getting at.
And
this is how you start your day. And what if you start your day with something that is lousy?
Joe, it is 8:00 in the morning. I'm going to be ending my day soon. I'm a third shifter.
Okay. I don't know. It's noteworthy because I'm looking at Allan. He's got his Mountain Dew like he always does.
Diet Mountain Dew.
Max eats literally the same food every single day, so he doesn't count.
Max has dietary, situations that mean he needs something that he's not going to surprise him.
Okay.
Me, I'm only going to live once, and I'm only going to die once. So if I get taken out by a soda flavor, then I just wasn't meant to go that far.
Well, see, I think
Brandon, challenge accepted.
There you go,
dude. I drank the Beverly at the Coke Museum.
You did?
And I'm the only one who didn't gag.
I think there's bigger issues.
But you knew what you were getting into.
Yeah.
Not the first time.
Head first. You yelled, yee, as you went down that well.
Here, you want to watch me break Joe completely. I have a block of cheese at home right now that's infused with tequila and habanero peppers.
There you go. I think this speaks to Brandon's open-minded nature and his ability to try new things.
And this is why I want people
that
to...
extends beyond food.
Right, because this is one of the reasons I want to see something new. I need to be shocked, surprised. I want the spectacle.
Right.
And that just makes me want to tell people I want brand new programming this year at MCFC.
Okay. See, I knew this would translate over to a shameless
I mean, come
plug,
on.
so, yeah.
If there's a shameless plug to be found in the bottle of
You didn't hear the shark
soda,
music playing?
it's like,
I saw the fin come on.
Right.
That's right, guys. Head on over to memphiscfc.com. Hit up our programming area. Send me a submission. It still needs to be slightly family friendly. Nothing too out there.
Yeah,
but I want to see something new.
PG-13.
I want something exciting.
Okay. Go to memphiscfc@gmail.com. That's where you send things. As a matter of fact, Brandon, I just got an email this morning for new panel submissions. So
Awesome.
Yeah. Okay. But anyway, it was just an observation.
Yeah,
so
and it's like at any given time you want to, step out of your comfort zone with a Diet Coke. I can find you a Diet Coke with lemon.
Nope, I never will. So, hey, Max, let's tee this up, and I suppose we'll have to continue after the break. But there's some noteworthy anniversary you wanted to mark. Oh, here we go.
Legend in geekdom.
Well, let's go back to 2001, and I want to wish a very happy anniversary to Shrek.
Okay, so you're a Shrek fan.
I mean, I think it's notable enough.
How can you not be?
The thing that really stuck out for me in my research was the fact that Shrek used to be a book, and it has one of the best opening lines of all time. His mother was ugly, and his father was ugly, but Shrek was uglier than the two of them put together.
Okay, that's a pretty strong open, I have to say.
And the person who created it was a man by the name of William Steig, who is considered the king of cartoons. And the plot itself really differs from the movie, but I gotta admit, though, I love some of the one-liners in the movie, like with John Lithgow's character. He's like, some of you may die, but it's a sacrifice I'm willing to make.
That's how I feel about the programming people at MCFC.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, but no, that actually, I don't remember the last time I watched Shrek, but it is a pretty funny movie.
It's so good. But Max, do we know where he's buried?
Who?
The creator of Shrek, the writer of Shrek.
William Steig?
Yeah.
How far back how old is this book, too?
1990. It's only 1990.
I know, but there's...
that's...
But seriously, after hearing about the plot of Shrek 5, he had to have killed over dead.
It's
got a multiverse thing, Joe.
He died in 2003 at the age of 95 in Boston.
All right, we'll get some research done at the break, and we'll continue when we come back here on Geek Tank Radio.
You're listening to Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max. They slice their pizza with a Batarang. The Geek Patrol is back.
And we'll come back to Geek Tank Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmstead and Allan Gilbreth and our buddy Max over there behind the glass. And if you're just tuning in, we're getting a little recap, or we're getting a little history lesson about Shrek, because I guess this is the 24th anniversary. Is my math correct here?
Correct, 2001. And the word Shrek itself comes from the Yiddish term and German term, which means fear or fright.
Oh, okay.
Because
right.
Shrek was actually an anti-hero back in the day. He's a seemingly indestructible monster who loved enjoying causing misery with his repulsive appearance.
Well, I mean, he's not exactly a total hero anyway,
Hey, Allan.
right? So, okay. But
I got an idea.
Oh, gosh. You said it was a book, though.
Yeah, by William Steig. This guy wrote over 1,600 cartoons and was dubbed the king of cartoons. And one of his crowning gems, I guess you could say, was Shrek.
Well, do you guys, I don't know about you, but for me, in my mind, I connect Shrek with The Princess Bride only in the sense that it's traditional, like, fairy tales mixed with unexpected themes. I don't know. Is that a fair? I don't know. I mean, there's something about it that it's different. It's different. If nothing else,
it definitely subverts your traditional tropes.
There are certain movies where you actually get an intelligent or I'll say at least competent antagonist and protagonist. Because even the dragon's not incompetent. Everybody in this movie has pluses and minuses to them.
Yeah.
And, even Farquaad, who's...
The little guy that
The little
Jumps
his
the-
arms and legs
yeah,
look
the
longer.
little bitty guy voiced by the guy that's 6'6",
Right.
which was hilarious.
Yeah.
Of even he built a kingdom. I mean, nobody's incompetent in this movie.
Yeah.
But this is just what happens when you set these events in motion.
And you know what's interesting? The movie almost wasn't what it was going to be because Steven Spielberg purchased the right to the book back in 1991, and it was going to be a sort of traditionally animated film, and Bill Murray was going to be Shrek and Steve Martin was going to be Donkey. But then DreamWorks ended up purchasing the rights for the book for about $500,000, and they ended up making it a little bit more of the, well, as you said, with the weird animation that it was nowadays. And so I think part of its charm is its level of imperfection. And then what I like about it is after Steg, before he died in 2003, saw the first film, these are his words. It's vulgar, it's disgusting, and I love it.
Nice.
Because it's slightly different from his original plot because there was a donkey, but it wasn't Eddie Murphy donkey. It was more like the donkey was going to guide him to this castle to battle a knight and marry a princess who was even uglier than him.
Oh gosh. Well,
Also keep in mind that Michael Myers was not the original Shrek.
I'm glad they didn't give Bill Murray it. I mean, I will
No. The film had to be reshot.
Wait, what?
Chris Farley was Shrek.
Oh, did he pass away? Was that when he passed away? Oh, I could see Chris Farley doing it, but
That's why Shrek
I'm glad they
looks
didn't
so
put
much
Bill Murray
like
in there.
That's why Shrek looks so much like Chris Farley.
That's interesting. So, and of course, I think the casting was really good. Actually, John Lithgow. I mean, you can't go wrong with him. And Eddie Murphy sort of steals the show. I mean, so they had some pretty on point voice acting.
Well, we talk about chemistry in movies all the time, and this was just great chemistry among the whole cast. I mean, even Princess Fiona, bless her heart, was in the sound thing drinking a Coke, and, well, the gas got her.
They kept it in. Yeah.
Became one of the great centerpieces of the movie.
Wait, was that Cameron Diaz?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
So
right.
she had a big old Coke belch, and they went, "Oh, that is awesome." And next thing you know, it's like a quoted centerpiece of the movie. Oh man, Shrek, she's as nasty as you are. It just, you got the hint that maybe there was something going on behind the scenes.
Yeah. All right.
Cool movie.
So he approved. That's good.
Yeah, he approved.
All right. Well, it is worthy, and I think most people have seen Shrek, and it visually, I don't know that it always holds up just because it's like that creepy early computer animation, but the humor I think holds up. They make a lot of references that are sort of dated, but who cares?
But at the end of the day, it's good to know, and to quote the words of Steg once more, that all the cast lived horribly ever after, scaring the socks off all who fell afoul of them.
There you go. Okay, so happy anniversary to Shrek. All right, shifting gears, we lost. Is he a legend?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Joe
Big time.
Don Baker, who
He was the king of, hey, I know that guy.
he was in like every 70s bit part or whatever, but
Mitchell.
we know him from, if you're a fan of Mystery Science Theater, he was Mitchell. Well, he was also a few other guys, but Mitchell is one of the best Mystery Science Theater riffs that they do. But this guy, was he talented? Or, because I don't really know how to rate this guy. When he was on camera, you were paying attention to what he said, but I don't know how good of an actor I don't want to, what do you guys think about him?
All right. Once again, there are people that pay attention to their strengths.
Okay,
and
there
play
you
to
go.
them.
Yeah.
What was one of the complaints a long time ago by everybody trying to make comedies was, all right, great. We had a great comedy. Now my entire comedy cast wants to go do a drama so they don't get typecast. Certain actors came along that fell into a niche and reveled in it.
They just leaned. That's my niche. Yeah.
Joe Don Baker, whether he was slapping Chevy Chase around in Fletch, or he was in Walking Tall, or he was, heaven help, Mitchell, he was that kind of weird, tough guy
Yeah. He was sort of a doughy, not really that tough of a tough guy, but he had a big mouth. Sort of.
You can go ahead and take that back. He was literally, I mean, he was the kind of guy who beat you senseless.
I don't know.
He hit people with a hickory stick. I mean, this isn't a joke kind of character.
Not bad for a guy from Groesbeck, Texas.
He's a big
what
old,
can I tell you, man?
He's a big old intimidating force. Now, you know him from Mystery Science Theater, which has nothing serious.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, we're put a pin in that. We're going to continue the tribute when we come back here on Geek Tank Radio.
You're listening to Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max. The Geek Patrol is back.
I realized at that time I was born of two fathers, Elias and Mega Weapon.
And welcome back to Geek Tank Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmsted and Allan Gilbreth and our pal Max over there behind the glass. And we're paying tribute to the late Joe Don Baker. If you don't recognize the name and you're over 40 years old, just Google him and you'll recognize the face.
Yeah, that's understandable.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't know his name. Actually,
there's plenty of people who are well beyond 40 who don't know his name. They just know he like I said earlier, he is the king of, hey, it's that guy. You know, he shows up in everything.
I think of him as a B-movie actor, but now Allan's sitting there rattling off some credits. Like you said, he hit James Bond.
He was in three Bond movies.
Okay.
Dude was, again, he basically played the same character again and again and again. He worked with Sam Peckinpah. He was with he was in Mars Attacks, for heaven's sake.
He's in The Natural. Who cares about Mars Attacks?
Wait a minute. What did he play in The Natural? Because I like that.
He was the Whammer.
Movie. Oh, now that wasn't bad. He was playing basically Babe Ruth, but in an alternate universe. So yeah,
pretty close. So
he wasn't too bad in that one.
Final Justice.
He had a presence. Now, he's a big guy. Let's just start with physically.
Yeah,
he was a large, intimidating personality. So when he came, was he big and he buff? Was he an Arnold character? No. He looked like he had never passed up a red beans and rice in his life.
Right.
But when he came blowing out the door, carrying a 2x4, you knew somebody in that room was taking a whooping.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sitting here, I'm looking at the filmography, and I'm seeing, and he ran the gamut of everything. I mean, he was acting Chief Tom Dugan in The Heat of the Night.
Yeah.
He was in Cape Fear. He was in The Distinguished Gentleman. He literally played opposite Eddie Murphy in The Distinguished Gentleman. He was in Reality Bites, which was all about,
I forgot he was in Reality Bites.
Oh, God. He was in Congo. I mean, these were big budget movies, and they found a way to get him in everywhere. What is it? He has how many credits? Of course, GoldenEye, The Living Daylights.
Oh, yeah.
Just.
Huh. I got so hung up on Mitchell that I wasn't thinking of all the other. I forgot all about him playing like that Babe Ruth type character.
Well, he was also from the contract days back when if you got on with a studio, you worked every week.
That's a good point.
We've talked about this in the past. A lot of these actors, when that door opened and you got a paycheck, you didn't care what you were in. Right. This week, Brandon, you're chasing a lizard. Next week, Brandon, you're a gorilla. Next week, Brandon, you're going to beat up a bar full of bikers. Next week, Brandon, you're going to be a biker getting beat up.
Yeah.
And they did. These guys
Why do I feel like I'm working for Robert Alsop all the
time? Yeah, there you go. So, all right. Well, so he's had a pretty good run then. I mean, I don't know how old he was.
Very long and varied career.
He was, 89?
Oh, really?
89 years old.
Yeah. Holy smokes.
His last official role in Hollywood was in Mud with Matthew McConaughey. He played King.
Yeah.
And that was back in 2012. But he has a movie that's coming out called Cowboys from Hell.
Wait, so he had one just recently?
Where he plays Shotgun Tucker, and he's
awesome.
got head bill.
Okay. Oh, awesome. Well, isn't that something? Well, how do you like that? I mean, but Allan said
him and Robert Wall. Whoa.
Find your niche, find what you and embrace it. Don't try to become something you're not, I guess, or lean into it and make a career.
If you got a catchphrase, use it. If you've got a look, use it. If you've got, It's your career. Make yourself happy doing it. He had a great long career and now that he has passed, of course, they'll be digging up his movies everywhere, and you're going to see him on TV a lot.
I don't think it's going to really be that much of a stretch that there's a good chance if you just put it on Tubi and have it continue, you're going to see movies with him in it before they ever go, oh, wait, we're supposed to be doing a memoriam?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Just inadvertently. So, all right. Well, Joe Don Baker, good run, and you will be missed. So, all right. Shifting gears once again. The season finale, Andor, the second season is over. And I mean, we're gonna go carefully on spoilers because Max and I don't know, Allan, I can never judge whether he, what his feelings are. But Brandon, you and I, I've watched I've watched episodes multiple times. I'm very satisfied with it. I thought the first two episodes had plot lines that were a little slow, but that's a pretty minor criticism. Everything else was like...
It was such a weird mix with this set of episodes because you're right. There are certain certain plots that seem to be dragging in those first two episodes. But at the same time, there are others that are like in hyperspeed.
Right.
And it was a little disconcerting, but that third episode, it brought everything together just right.
And
of course, it was great to see K2S.
Well, there you go. And Max, so what episode are you on, Max?
I'm on 10 of 12.
10 of 12. Okay.
My only minor criticism is that the first few episodes had a little bit too much romance in it. Like inorganic romance.
Well, it's funny you say that because I think we can talk about this without spoilers too much. Cyril and Dedra, they have like
a very abusive relationship.
Yeah, but they have zero chemistry. Like, for one thing, they're both weird people, and they have no romantic chemistry. But I think that's by design,
Cyril has more chemistry with the girl he meets when he's kind of going undercover in the second set of episodes, or when they're on Gorman, and it's just like, dude. You need to get. I was hoping that he was going to finally realize maybe not join the rebellion per se, but get away from Dedra. I mean, we know we've made it up through the thing where he finally kind of snaps on her.
Yeah,
and it was like that whole thing is over. He's tired of being manipulated. He's tired of being abused.
But if there's one character in the entire thing that kept his integrity, I'd have to say it was Cyril. He didn't compromise his values, and he. For whatever reason, he and in fact, even confronting her. But I thought the fact that there's no chemistry between him and Dedra actually speaks to the sophistication of the storytelling, because I think that's by design. Obviously, she's just using him.
Yeah, it's 100%.
That's pretty cool. Portraying that is not an easy thing. So we have some more comments about Andor Season 2 when we come back here on Geek Tank Radio.
You're listening to Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max. The Geek Patrol is back.
They are still coming through. This is impossible.
And welcome back to Geek Tank Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my friends Brandon Olmsted and Allan Gilbreth and our buddy Max over there behind the glass. And if you're just tuning in, we're having a few spoilers, but we're trying to go a little spoiler light on the wrap up of Andor Season 2 because not everybody has seen it, and we don't want to ruin it. But we are. Well, for one thing, we're all singing the praises, even you, right, Max? Because I thought it was a triumph.
I'd still say so, based on the I think the after you get past like those two episodes and everything, it gets a little better.
And I would say the last 10 or 15 minutes of the very final show, the very final episode, are pretty. I was thinking that Partagast. There's some moments that are like that's some of the best stuff I've ever seen. So,
dude, it was. I like the fact that we got glimpses into what everyone else. I mean, anyone who's still alive at the end, we get a little glimpse of what's going on and everything. And I don't want to go into any of the stuff because, again, I don't want to give those details away to Max.
Right.
But there are characters that they show in there that I would like to see some expanded universe stuff kind of deal with. Like, they've been doing those animated series like Tales of the Jedi, Tales of the Sith. Latest one is Tales of the Underworld. Give me Tales of the Rebellion that focuses on some of those folks that are still around at the end that aren't major players later on.
Right.
You know,
right.
I want to see, and I know everybody's like, well, there's no action there. I don't care. I want to see moisture farmers. I want to see, like people who are just on Yavin to, keep the village up kind of situation. I want to see those stories because they have heart.
I got a question for you guys because this is something that occurred to me, and this is a little bit of a spoiler, but we do not. This is a Star Wars where we don't see a Jedi unless maybe that healer lady was.
She's like a night witch.
Okay, but we don't see lightsabers. But
I don't even think she knows that.
Although I think we saw a disused lightsaber with Luthen's walking stick. But so here's my question. Are Jedi such a specialized thing that the average person would never even encounter? In the Star Wars universe, is a Jedi more of a rarity? So we were really getting a glimpse of what actual life in the galaxy would have been like. So
at this point, we've already had Order 66. The Jedi that are still around are all in hiding. You're not going to see one on the regular. Remember in Obi-Wan Kenobi when they saw him with a lightsaber, it was like, whoa, what is it? Oh, my God.
Right. Yeah.
People knew what Jedi were, but they had almost become like this myth. Maybe the Jedi were never real. Maybe it was all stories of.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They didn't talk about. Surely you would, if Jedi were on every planet, people would at least talk about them, even if they were gone.
And then, of course, again, we see in Rogue One with Chirrut Imwe, he's a protector of the temple, but he's no Jedi. He doesn't carry a lightsaber.
Well, I think Han Solo summed it up best in his little soliloquy when he went, "No, it's all true."
Well, yeah,
because by then
I think he summed
in the Force Awakens. You mean?
Well, yeah, but
I think he summed it up better. And he goes, and when he says in A New Hope, "There's no all mystifying force guiding my destiny." It's like he symbolizes the mindset of the people we have now. In the episodes on Yavin, when Bix introduces Cassian to the healer,
right,
and he's like, "It's tricks. That's this isn't real." And then, of course, there's a moment later on where someone says, "May the Force be with you." And we're not going to really get into all that, but he kind of looks at him like, like keep your religion to yourself. He gave him that look.
Yeah, exactly. But that would have been part. That's what I'm saying. Is that part of the vernacular for the average Star Wars citizen?
I think it is part of the Empire's misinformation and propaganda to make people either not believe in anything hopeful or to believe that it's all children's stories.
Now that's an interesting take because we know how well they
look at our world today. I mean,
yeah. Now I didn't think of that take, but I thought it showed a lot of restraint because I was thinking, okay, in the last episode we're probably going to see Palpatine or something, or even a shadow of Darth Vader. But no, they stuck to their guns. They said, nope, this is what the story is. So, but I mean, it was pretty cool. And K2, the one thing I really liked about K2SO, his origin stories. These things are. These droids are sinister. They're dangerous and lethal.
It's like, let's see how far we can throw a man.
When they said, let's unleash, what did they say? Let them out or
unleash
something?
The KX units.
Yeah. K2, because that is my favorite droid. He has a great redemption at the end. Well, not redemption, but he just has a great ending. He finishes, pretty strong. So, but it's
I will follow you.
Yeah.
Because Cassian said I had to.
Right, but at the end, I mean, he took initiative, and in this one, we see him taking initiative where he saved their life again.
Yeah, so. And I mean that whole situation there because he's like trying to communicate with him, nothing.
Right, it's interesting. So, but folks, if you haven't seen Andor, man, it's cool.
If you are even tangentially interested in Star Wars, watch Andor.
Do you think what's the age recommendation though? I'm mostly just thinking for attention span.
I would say for attention span in these days 45.
Well, you know what I mean, like because a kid, it's a political thriller. I mean, let's face it, and it's a heist thing. But I
would say that, especially given the state of the world we're in today, at least 16.
I think so too.
16 and up. If you just want to watch good Star Wars fights but no lightsabers, 12 and up. But to get the political intrigue and a lot of the stuff that's going on behind the scenes, I think you need at least 16.
Well, to me, the fact that there's 2 seasons that are consistently this good is a triumph of its. I mean, my bar is set pretty low these days,
Right?
So that I was really like nervous that they were going to mess this up, and they didn't, man. It was great. They kept the right tone, and this will go down in history as I think one of the best Star Wars projects ever.
Yep.
I have to believe. So I don't know what the ratings are like. I don't know what the viewers are like. I don't know what viewership's like. But
there's a lot of people who were very much Star Wars needs to grow up. It needs to stop being for kids. But then when Andor dropped, it's like, whoa.
Right.
That's a little too adult.
Well, we'll keep you posted, but not now because it's time to get out of here. So until next week, we are the Geek Patrol, and I am Joe Thorderson.
I'm Allan Gilbreth.
I'm Maximilian.
And I'm Brandon Olmsted, reminding you to join me at MegaCon next weekend.
Oh, yeah.